Fred here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, we will be taking a look at the Smith & Wesson HRT Hostage Rescue Team. Stay tuned. Let's take a quick look at the packaging. As you can see, it's Smith & Wesson. We have some features listed on the packaging, which I like very much. It's 7CR17 high carbon steel, which is comparable to the US 440A steel, except this is made in China. You have a PPE handle, full tang. I can tell you right now, this is not full tang. This is what we technically call a full length tang. We have a lanyard hole and a leather sheath. Well, I did open up the side here. One thing, here is the specific model number right on the back. And the reason why I showed you that is because the Smith & Wesson HRT, there's actually 3 knives that fall into this category. This is the single edge. There's also one that has a double edge, has an edge up here. In this particular model, it's a false edge here. And then there's also a tonneau style. So there are 3 HRTs. This just happens to be the one that was at my local exchange. Now, this is, like I said, Smith & Wesson, which is owned by Taylor Brands LCC. They also make charade knives, and they have one of my favorite knives, actually, the charade. You could go back in some of my videos to see which one that is. Oh, got some silica. It's good to keep this kind of stuff. You can, if you have a safe or something like that, you could throw it in there and it'll keep things dry, which is, you know, it soaks up moisture. This is not candy. Smith & Wesson is not giving you free candy with your knife. That's why it says do not eat, just in case you didn't know. Alright, so let's take a look at this. This is supposed to be Teflon coated. It almost feels like a powder coat, personally, but you can see it's a Teflon coating. It does say HRT again, that stands for Hostage Rescue Team, and it's like a sort of has a slightly rubbery feeling, but it's a hard plastic handle there, or scales, whatever you want to call it. And you can see that it's not technically a full tang, because then you would see the blade here, and you don't. So it's a full length tang. There's your lanyard hole. Looks like there's a little brass ring in there. So let's see. It's pretty lightweight, 7.7 ounces. The blade length is 4.7 inches, and the full length of this knife is 9 inches. And this is made in China. Here is the model number on the other side. And you have nothing there. Has that fake, I forgot what you call that groove, blood groove right there. It's kind of skinny. But it's a pretty handsome looking knife. Again, this one is the false blade, or false edge on the top. You could always sharpen this if you get like this version instead of the double edge version, which is probably $1 or $2 cheaper. You can go ahead and put an edge on this if you are skilled. So let's see if it's sharp out of the box. Have some paper here. We can go ahead and... Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see if it's capable of a push cut. It's not really capable of a push cut, but it's more than sharp enough to cut paper the conventional paper cutting way. Can we shave with it? Not quite. Alright, so it comes adequately sharp. You could always sharpen it yourself. There's a lot of videos on YouTube where they show you how to sharpen stuff. And I'll tell you, it feels very, very solid. Very solidly made. You have some good guards here. Your hand is not going to slip if you're stabbing. You go ahead and do some stabbing here real quick. Go ahead and test the tip. Make sure that it doesn't bend, and it looks like it's straight. It's still pointy, so we're all good. No problem whatsoever. Let's take a look at the sheath. The sheath is leather, and it's really, really nice. I'm really surprised they give you a real leather sheath with a knife that costs $14. Has a nice belt clip here. I like these kind of belt clips. They will hold on to your patch. You can see how it comes down right there. I'm having trouble keeping everything in the frame today. So has a little clip here to lock it in. So let's go ahead and slide this in. It's a nice tight fit. It's not going to go anywhere even without the strap. A lot of websites call this a boot knife. Wow. That is very, very tight. I don't know why I can't get that in there. Actually, you know what? I just tried to shove that in the wrong way. You got to be careful. There's a second. So you got to get it in there, not in there. I started shoving it down the wrong path, which might have destroyed it. So be careful with that. Make sure you stick it in where it's supposed to. And it has a button, not Velcro, which I like. Because there's nothing like being in a hostage rescue situation and then you have to undo your Velcro and give away your position. I'd rather have a nice, quiet, quick little button. See? Much quieter. Holds just as secure. And it lasts a lot longer than Velcro, which eventually sort of gives up. Now the stitching is just single stitching all around, but you know, it's thick leather. It shouldn't be a problem. Looks like there's one rivet there, and it's held in very secure. So I'll tell you, I am very, very impressed with this knife. Very impressed. The only thing I would say is that they should glue the back part of this a little better, so idiots like me don't try to shove the knife down the wrong spot right there. So very interesting. Let me give you a close-up of what happened there, so you can see you're not supposed to put it down here. You're supposed to put it down here. So maybe there was some glue there and it didn't quite get in there. I'm not going to hit it for that. That's minor. So I told you this was a PPE handle, and I didn't do my homework because I didn't look up what PPE stood for. So I went ahead and looked it up here, so in the last scene here I could sort of catch up. And PPE stands for polyurethane ether plastic. So it's a plastic handle, polyplastic, whatever you want to call it. But it's a very interesting feeling handle. I can't really describe it because it's hard, but it still has a rubbery kind of grip to it. It's really unique, and I really like it. It really does, even though the texturing is not that aggressive, it still has this grip as if you were grabbing on the rubber, but it's not. It doesn't give like rubber. It's really interesting feeling. It might be good for a lot of knives. I would like to see this used more. It's a very interesting material. So what am I going to rate this? I'm going to rate it a 9 out of 10. And the reason why I'm really giving it high, even though it's a cheap knife, it's only a $15 knife, because I feel like you're getting an awful lot for 15 bucks. I mean, it's not super thick blade stock. There is even a very, very slight, you know what? Because there is some slight flex with this, well, no, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. A weak 9 out of 10. You know, because the stock is kind of thin, but for $15, and it's 440, comparable to 448 7CR17 MOV, the Chinese copy of our 440. I see there's a little bit of coating flakes coming off it, just residue left over from manufacturing. It's not perfect, but it's a $15 knife, and it's really a great value priced boot knife. If that's what you're in the market for and you don't have a lot of money, it's pretty good, and I would recommend it. So if somebody bought one of these and they had some trouble with it, it broke or something, because I just jabbed it in the wood and the point didn't break it. It looks like that flex allows it to give and not snap. It's this is not a knife to be batoning wood or doing something weird like that. This is a stabbing knife. It's almost like a secondary boot knife to sort of do that. So they made it thin to keep the weight down. I mean, it's only 7.7 ounces. I already forgot already. Yeah, 7.7 ounces. So keeping all that in mind, 9 out of 10, highly recommended. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate every friend, viewer, subscriber, and you. And I will see you on Friday. Have a great evening.